Welcome back to another day, another episode of The Daily Grind. I'm your host, 30NSG, and on today's show, we've got nothing to talk about except Highguard. Highguard came out yesterday, just shy of 24 hours, and boy, let me tell you, it feels like it's been out for like a month, right? It feels like it's been out for a month. What's going on, chat? Let me see who's all here. Good morning, Wonder Rose. Good morning, Aku. What's going on, Travis? Eclipse Crowded. What's going on? Good morning. Scrolling down. Big Mo, Water Bear. Good morning. Kylo. Kylo says he played one game and he's already deleted the game. Won his first match and uninstalled it. Smart man. Argus, good morning. Jesse Mack, good morning. Roic, good morning. Oh, sorry. All right. Before we get to all of Highguard today, there's a lot of news stories, man. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I got 14 tabs open just about Highguard. Okay. I wrote something down, and I have a script, right? But I'm not going to read your whole script because I'm doing it later. But I want to read a part of the script to you guys, okay? And it has to do with good old Jeff Keighley here. Okay, so before we even get to Highguard itself, right, we need to talk about the elephant in the room, which is Jeff himself, okay? Because Highguard didn't just launch, it was presented, right? It was presented to us. The game wasn't quietly announced on a random Tuesday blog post. It wasn't on a Steam page that just appeared out of nowhere, okay? No, Highguard got the Game Award treatment, big stage, big reveal, end of show energy, and a kind of slot to save the games that you want people to remember. Right, chat? I mean, we all saw it live. We all sat here live, watched it. Okay? And that matters. Okay? That matters because he chose that game and said, we're going to show you that. We're going to show you this game because this game is the next game that you should be keeping your eye on. And when the game shows up at the Game Awards, especially in a featured spot, it comes with an implied promise. Okay? This is worth your time. Okay? This is worth your time. Jeff knows that. The audience knows that. Publishers absolutely know that. So when Highguard gets a level of exposure, expectations skyrocket, not because players are unreasonable, but because show told them to pay attention. Okay? And then it gets weird. Okay? Then it gets weird. Because after the big reveal, nothing happened. No steady marketing, no dev deep dives, no gameplay breakdown, no beta talk. Okay? Or I'm sorry, no beta weekend. Okay? No slow ramp up towards the release, just silence. Okay? For over a month, 6 weeks. And then suddenly Highguard shows up again on release day yesterday and says, "Hey guys, we're out. No build up, no community moments, no second chance to explain what the game actually is. They just do it one lump sum yesterday, give us a giant video ahead of time, and we're all like, we still don't know what it is." Okay? That's not confidence. That's hoping for first impressions do all the work. Okay? All right? And then comes the weirdest part, the attitude. The attitude of Jeff Keighley. After launch, the backlash starts to come in. People are talking about it, negative reviews, Steam charts. Okay? And then you'll see the game, wait, the game will be good. People owe us an apology is what he says. In 48 hours, he puts that little Jurassic Park meme up there. Okay. Players don't owe anyone patience. They don't owe anyone loyalty. They definitely don't own an apology for reacting to the actual product that they were sold with either time or money. If you put a game out on the biggest stage in the industry, you're inviting scrutiny. You're asking people to judge it, and that's the deal. You don't get the hype without accountability. Okay? Jeff's role in all of this isn't about malice or favoritism. It's about influence. And when the game is spotlighted, it's being endorsed by proximity. The endorsement shapes expectations whether or not anyone admits it or not. And when the game doesn't live up to that spotlight, the backlash hits harder. Not because the players are cruel, not because they were told to care, but Highguard wasn't treated like an experiment. It was treated like a moment. And moments demand delivery. That's it. This is why the reaction of Highguard feels so sharp. If the game had to shadow drop quietly, and conversations would have been very different, but it didn't. It was framed as a big deal, and then it launched and it wasn't. That discount, all right, that disconnect is what players are responding to. Not just the game, but the way it was presented. That's it, right? So that's my little blurb that I have a video going on to. But I wanted to read that because they come out and be like, this is the game that you're going to get. This is the game that you guys are going to be super excited for. The game is broke, man. The game is unfinished. It's a 3v3 beta test game with a bunch of ideas that were written on a board, chat. Okay, they were written on a whiteboard, and they're like, yeah, we should put that in the game. I want to applaud them, and I'll applaud them. I'll applaud them for trying something different, right? Trying something different. Yes, right? Apple came out with the cell phone, okay? The cell phone was already created, but they made it into a smartphone. It changed the landscape of what it does, right? They came out with Highguard and said, hey, what about if we take this from this game and 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 put it all together and mash it up? Well, the problem, it just didn't mash up well. Hence why other people probably didn't try it, but at least they tried something. But the problem here is it's a beta test game that they're charging $18 for microtransactions, okay? And yet the game just is boring. I had the greatest sleep last night, the greatest sleep. You know what I did? I put my headset on, the little band that goes over my head, right? Water Bear knows what I'm talking about, okay? And I put a game of Highguard on. I passed out faster than I've ever passed out before because the game is so goddamn boring. It needs more time to cook. They got a roadmap ahead for a year. Well, guess what? It won't even be here for a year. It'll be closed down way before the year, and maybe, if it is still here, it'll finally be a game that should have been completed on day one. 3v3? 3v3? What are we talking about? It's absolutely amazing what they're doing with this game. Let me see what you guys are saying here. Argus says, my sweaty-ass PvP friend said that they said hardcore game for the sweats and agreed with the basically every criticism people brought up about it, from performance to amount of players in the match. Yeah, the 3v3 is absolutely... and the best part is they're like, in 2 weeks, we have an update. You cannot put a game out in 3v3. You know what Destiny did? They put Trials in, which is 3v3, but they also had all of this other game, not just Trials. Right? And Trials was a much better game than what this is, and that was a side game mode inside of a game. This is the game. Justin Dove says, I did the tutorial and quit when they put me in a queue. Came back later and played for another hour or two. Had a good time. Will be better with friends. I played the tutorial. I played the practice, match. I played one match, and then I stopped. I said, I am so bored. So bored. Let's see, Argus said something else. I missed it. Kyle says you gotta give them that. At least they tried, but they got to set up to failure. Should have just left it shadow drop. We're going to talk about that. There's an article right here that talks about Highguard's shadow drop plans were upended by the Game Awards, said CEO. Argus says, well, not player count. More so based on its maps. It needs to be a 4v4, 5v5, 6v6. 3v3 is appealing to the smallest number of gamers in the entire lobby. Or the entire hobby, sorry. The reason they did 3v3, there was people waiting in queues to get in, and then it would back you out when you're waiting for a match. It'd be 5 of 6 and then kick you out. Right? I watched Shroud play it for about an hour and a half. I watched Kinger play it for about an hour and a half. I watched Co play it when we were on stream and then after stream. I watched, who else did I watch? I watched a couple of just random streamers, and they all had the same thing. It's not like they're listening to other people's streams and stuff. No, they're all playing at the exact same time right now, and they all have the same criticisms. Eclipse says it's very much is like why we gather crystals. Let me fight mobs in a gun game. Yeah, I don't understand. How about shoot the crystals with the gun instead of a mini game like it's Skull and Bones. Kyle says I can see this being true. It meant for me to have more people 3v3v3v3, but it could have gotten it to run correctly, so they dumbed it down to 3v3. If it was just, I mean, I can see what you're saying, where if it had 9 people on the map and there's 3 teams of 3 or 4 teams of 3, right? That probably would have been better. But Argus says 3v3 appeals to the smallest player base in shooting games. It leaves no room for less skilled players. Even one player being not good enough for the team is 3v3 versus completely average skilled. Yeah. Twitch numbers, not good, granted, this morning. Well, here you want to see, here's Highguard, and here is the number right now. 97,000. And remember, this is a free-to-play game. Just to put another free-to-play game in the picture of when it first launched, let's look at Marvel Rivals. 6 months ago, 644,000. Now, obviously, it's Marvel, and it's been around for 80 years, and people like the characters and whatnot. 644,000 for a free-to-play game. Highguard doesn't break 100,000 and drops off a cliff. Okay. Now, Krebsy took some pictures this morning. Okay. Krebsy took some pictures this morning. It was at like, I think it was like at 5 o'clock this morning or something like that. And he took pictures just to show you what everyone's player base was at this time. Okay. Rivals is at 74,000 this morning at like 5 o'clock. Delta Force, 67,000. Boulder's Gate, okay, 37,000. Tarkov, 12,000. Battlefield 6, 23,000. Highguard, 8,000. 8,000. Arc Raiders, 130,000 at 5 o'clock in the morning. And 76,000 for Apex Legends. Eclipse says, yeah, I played like 5 hours. I had 2 friends the whole time, and we had fun playing it. But it was also because we were there for each other. Yeah, if you're playing with someone, I can see having more fun. Obviously, anything having more fun, right, with friends. I played 2 complete matches and fully uninstalled it. Why are you a hater, El Dente? Why are you a hater? Krebsy says, Concord dropped by 91.5% in less than 12 hours. 97.2% down to 8.3 thousand. Travis says, did you see the guy that sent you the fact his friend set a queue for 30 minutes? Says a lot. Crowd says, Luke Stevens pointed out that the pacing of the game feeling very uneven. It makes no sense. It makes no sense, Crowded, that it's like it's a run and gun game, but it's so boring. Like I'm shielding walls, right? I'm shielding walls, but they can break all the walls around my base, right? So you only have 4, and then other people have to put 4, and other people have to put 4. It's like, well, why do I have to even do that at all, right? Then I got to open a chest to get weapons, and then it's like uneven for the guns and whatnot. You have to farm crystals and get better shields and stuff with better armor. Argus says, then they got to adjust OBJ areas in the map because they almost every person I saw giving an option of the game says they need more players to feel good. Well, my video comes out later this afternoon, and I have some things to say about that. I don't want to cannibalize my content. So let's talk about this, right? We actually said this ahead of time. We were like, I wonder if the game was supposed to be shadow dropped, and they decided to do advertisement, which, let's be honest, even if they shadow dropped it, I think they would have got it around the same amount of numbers. Maybe it would have went up to like 150,000, but you would have the exact same drop off ASAP because just the game is not done. I don't care how many people want to defend it. The game is not done. It's a great concept that they wrote down one night. They were drinking alcohol, and they're like, hey, what about if we made a game like this? And they put a bunch of stuff on a napkin or the whiteboard, and they said that, what about if we did a 3v3, and we had ults and all this other stuff? Like, oh, that sounds good. And they did it. And I applaud them for trying it. But this game is a beta, but they didn't want to give a beta. They didn't want to give a beta. They wanted to launch it full-fledged, right? Free to play, and then fund the rest of the game by telling us what the roadmap was. They gave us a roadmap before the game, right? They're like, hey, this is the things that we have coming. We have a year's worth of content coming out. I don't think you have 6 months. I don't think you have 6 months. I think this game is done. And here's the best part. The people that like to protect, right? They're like, nah, this is a good game. If it's a good game, then they don't need to change a goddamn thing. But you know what's going to happen? They're going to change everything. They're going to change the amount of people that are playing, right? And if they come out with a 4v4 or 5v5 or whatever game mode, they should have launched it with that. And if it wasn't done, then they shouldn't have launched the game when they did, because one game mode of 3v3 with 4 maps is just absurd. If you guys like what I do here, we do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning till noon Eastern. If you like it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. You can also use the TTS Monster if you want to hear your chat out loud, but it is optional. Okay, Highguard Shadow Drop plans were upended by the Game Awards, says CEO. Now, I love how the CEO is like, we're upended. We didn't want to do this, basically, is what the title's applying, but you did it. So you can't really blame Jeff for this. Okay, it says, while the Game Awards, an award show is just as much as a vehicle for trailers and game reveals, the 2025 show's capstone, Highguard, a free-to-play raid shooter from the studio founded by Titanfall and Apex Legends veterans. It reveals certainly made a splash for the good and the bad, and Highguard wasn't supposed to be a 2025 Game Awards final. In fact, it originally wasn't supposed to be at the show at all. Well, there's your first mistake. You should have kept it away. I don't understand, with all these other hero shooters and stuff out there that nobody wanted, yet you're like, not only do we want to announce it, but we want to take the last spot. Thanks, Jeff. Originally, developer Wildlight intended to shadow drop its debut live service shooter today, January 26th. Our plan was always a surprise launch like Apex. Wildlight founder CEO Dustin Welch told Polygon in an interview in a recent press event for Highguard. Ultimately, though, Keighley presented Wildlight with an offer he couldn't refuse. Oh, I bet you refuse it this time. I bet you if someone else offers it to you, you'd be like, yeah, no, thanks. Now, I get it. You want the eyeballs on you by going to Jeff Keighley. And I think this is going to expose Keighley a little bit here, because I don't think Keighley understands what a good game is. I don't. Because the fact that if Keighley thought this was a good game, in my opinion, he lied to them straight to their face. Instead of saying, hey, it's got good bones, keep working on that, I'll give you a spot on the following year's show. But you guys are not done yet. That's what he should have told them. Instead of, stroking them and saying, what a great game. You guys are doing an amazing job. You guys in the audience are going to love this game from the creators of Apex and Titanfall. Here's a half-assed 3v3 multiplayer game. Keighley is a friend of the studio. Well, I don't know if he's a friend of the studio anymore. Again, obviously he's still going to be friends. It's just a joke, right? They know each other since before the first Titanfall, and Keighley even wrote the final hours of Titanfall and behind-the-scenes look at Respawn Entertainment. Keighley did not respond to the request for comment from Polygon for this story. During Highguard's development, Keighley visited the studio a couple of times and loved the game. Criticism needs to happen. People think their game is fantastic until you tell them, hey, you might want to fix this. It's a little boring in the beginning. Onboarding in this game's a little long and monotonous. You might want to change it up a bit. Nope, everything's fine. Smells great, looks great. Okay? Debuting the game, he proposed of doing something which I also said was something unique and maybe a little risky in hindsight, Welch said, which was also taken as an indie free-to-play game and kind of promote the indie space. Okay, now I see his attentions there, right? Indie developers showing the thing, promoting it. Well, there's other indie games out there that you could have promoted that are done. Debuting the Game Awards would be quite a detour away from the initial plans of the Shadow Drop, but Welch viewed it as Wildlight would be foolish to turn down the Game Awards for what it was in the last spot and all the awareness that also would come from that. Now here is a little contradiction here, right? Because about 2 weeks ago, Paul Tassi had an article and said that there was, in his article, they said they didn't pay for the last spot. Then people came out and said that there was another spot, but they bailed out and they took the last spot. Here, Welch is telling you that it would be foolish to turn down the Game Awards. That was also the last spot and all the awareness that would also come from that. So they knew ahead of time that they were getting the last spot. So no one backed out, right? At least that's what I'm getting from this. Nobody backed out and then they got the spot. He put them in that spot. He gave them that spot. Okay. So Wildlight quickly rushed together a trailer. Oh my God. Why would you rush together a trailer that was meant to entertain, and perhaps we failed at that? No, not perhaps. You 100% failed at that. So because Keeley said, hey guys, we want to put you in the last spot, and you said, yeah, we'll take it, you rushed together a trailer that was meant to entertain, and then you didn't say anything for a month and a half about what the game was, because we didn't know what the game was for a month and a half after we looked at it. We said, ooh, that looks like Concord. Why would you rush together a trailer? Your game is incomplete. I'm sorry. It's incomplete. We need a trailer that can also show the loop, which I think we would be a little harder to do in that setting. This is mind-boggling to me. Well, your actions have consequences, right? Despite the poor reception to that trailer, which super many of the social media comments section is wonder if Highguard will be the next big live service misfire. Wildlight doesn't regret taking Keeley's offer. We heard the feedback, but the team is experienced and resilient, Welch said. So he just kept quiet, took a little bit of lumps, and learned. That was the appetizer course. You learned now. You learned now because of this, okay? Because of this. There's your lumps that you're getting, okay? Wildlight always intended for Highguard to speak for itself. And now that it's out and free to play on PlayStation 5, Windows PC, and Xbox Series S and X, it can do exactly that. And at the end of the day, let's just put the game out there and let people decide for themselves. Well, I think they've decided for themselves. Not only do I think they've decided for themselves, but 19,000 reviews, 31.29%. Okay. 15,837 in the game right now. Now, here's a tweet from Fran Marabella, okay? Because people like to defend. We have trash defenders out there, okay? People like to defend games that are bad. It's okay to have a bad game. It's okay. It's okay to like bad games as well, okay? First day stream user reviews of PvP shooter Highguard are rolling in. There are 13,500 global reviews at the time of this post, which is an additional 6,000 now, okay? 49% played less than an hour, 18% played more than 2 hours, and 3% played more than 4 hours. Okay, reviewers' recommendation by Playtime, the fact that he took the time out of his day to figure out the amount of people, the percentages of people, what they played by going through all the reviews, and then making a chart of this is trash defending beyond belief. Okay, 1+ hour, mostly negative. 2+ hours, mixed. 4+ hours is also mixed. And 5+ hours is mostly positive. Well, congratulations, you found your niche market, which is the people that played it 5.5 hours. Okay. In total, 3,200 positive versus 13,500 negative, right? And people are going to say that they're review bombing. They're review bombing. Okay. Oh, it's not fair. These guys have worked hard. Review bomb. I love the fact that they defend AAA games when they do stuff like this, and now they're defending an independent studio. Okay. Review bombing. That's not how that works. It works on, what is this game? They played the game. People tried it. Doesn't matter if it's 20 minutes. Doesn't matter if it's 40 minutes. Doesn't matter if it's 400 hours. They gave you your thoughts on what the game is, and you've got what you got. You got 19,000 reviews, 32.24%, mostly negative right now. Okay? And that's what it is. So now let's go to the next one. We got a lot, chat. We're moving on. Okay, let me see what you guys are saying. 30 took that month and a half to create the launch day video, which actually were better than the rush trailers. Imagine that, Mr. Z, right? That video that they put together, still confusing, still didn't know what it is, okay? But at least it was better than what they did and rushed it together. I don't know why people rush things. I don't know why people rush things. This is your livelihood. Like, this is the game that you're betting your life, like your studio on. And you're like, yeah, let's rush it out. Let's rush it out. And then let's not say anything. And then let's blame people now that it's out for 24 hours that they're review bombing. El Dente says now they have 8 months to do one of the following. 1, fix the game. 2, shut down. Right. Argus says, what about him doubling down and saying he's going to accept apologies once it launched? Talk about putting salt in the wounds. I talked about that in my opening. Sarge says, let's just call spade a spade. They thought they could just say whatever, do whatever, and see how many people could get there and just give us money for another mid-game from a Western developer. Crowded says, El Dente, the player base falls too low. They won't be able to even make fixes. There are no solo queues. You won't get a match. Well, they could do what Splitgate did. Right? You could do what Splitgate did. It's amazing how a lot of independent companies are burning, just like AAA companies, because they're trying to do the wrong thing. All right. So let's look at this, right? These might be out of order, might be in order. Let me see. This is also, this is the same as that. All right. We don't need player counts. Okay. Speaking of player counts from Crowded and stuff, it says, we don't need player counts to be super huge in order to be successful, which is true, by the way, which is true. Highguard devs respond to posters declaring it's dead on arrival, or posters declaring on arrival. If you guys like what I do, we do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning till noon Eastern. We just read articles, watch videos, give you my thoughts and opinions. And if you like that, then you give your thoughts and opinions as well. All right. So we don't need a player count to be super huge in order to be successful. Highguard devs respond to posters declaring that it's dead on arrival. Okay. The developers of Highguard will be the first to tell you that the reveal of the debut FPS could have gone down better. The trailer showed at the end of the Game Awards in December failed to distinguish Highguard from any other free-to-play hero shooter and prompted a wave of cynical social media posts, declaring it cooked before anyone had played it. When are people going to understand? When are people going to understand that you do not need to play a game to tell you if it's good or bad? There's no difference between showing that trailer or someone coming into my stream right now and listening to me for 30 seconds. None. Zero. They've made their opinion based on what they see. People come into my stream, they look at me and say, oh, this guy's a bald guy. This guy's an old guy. This guy, I don't know what he's talking about. And then they make their choice. And then they leave. And then they never come back. Then there's people that come in that listen a little longer and like, I kind of like what this guy's saying. And they stay. I don't need to listen to the stream for an hour and a half to see if I like the person or not. Don't. First impressions are everything. So when someone comes in and I'm ranting and raving about something, or if someone comes in and I'm being laughing about something, it's two different things, but that's what it is. Okay? This game showed a trailer that they rushed. Okay? They admitted it. They rushed the trailer for the Game Awards, and now they're saying that with the cynical social media posts, you failed your job by rushing the actual product out to tell people about your game. You failed as marketing 101. You failed. Then you failed by not saying anything after the fact. You failed. And then you failed by releasing the game yesterday in an incomplete state. It's not a complete game. It'll be a complete game 12 months from now when you add your entire roadmap, and that would be a complete game. It says, that's on Wildlight Entertainment CEO Dustin Welch told PC Gamer. At the hands of the event of Los Angeles last week, we could have made something that did better job of highlighting the unique loop of the game. Yes, well, at least you're admitting that. In anticipation of Highguard launch, I asked Wildlight that it makes the internet's to judge games' health using only a metric available to the public, Steam concurrent players. What if Highguard doesn't immediately have a lot of players? Is that an immediate problem for the studio's future? Well, no. I mean, they're making a free-to-play game, right? I don't think everyone just walked into the game yesterday and was like, I got to buy microtransactions right away. They probably want to buy the game or play the game a bit to then decide if they want to buy a skin or not, okay? It says, honestly, we don't need player count to be super huge in order to be successful, lead designer Mohammed told press in the group interview. He says, quote, we're a small team. A 6-player match of Highguard's max player count at launch is not hard to find. What we're really hoping for is a core group of fans that love us, that will allow us to grow. Being in the internet hate machine sucks. But at the same time, I try to just focus on making the best game. I can also getting the game into people's hands at the end of the day. That's all that really matters. Well, I'll tell you right now, you have that small group, which is fantastic. Okay. You get your core group, but at the same time, you're giving the core group of players an incomplete game. Incomplete game. Right? Like, you want a core audience, and yet you make an incomplete game to give your hardcore audience that really likes your game, which means you're taking advantage of the people that'll blindly love whatever you're doing. The internet's going to internet, Jason Torfin said. VP of Product and Publishing chimed in. You're going to be good at live service. You have to listen to the note behind the note. And yet there's indications that they're also fatigued, and there's also they're confused, and they don't know these things. So if it's also on us to make sure that we respond to that, and we're going to do that. But they didn't. They haven't done anything up until the point until yesterday. And I haven't been following and see if they said anything, right? The actual developers. I also asked the founder CEO, Dustin Welch, what he makes of the first-person shooter scene and release of Highguard into a crowded genre, and he offered a compelling counterpoint. He says, quote, there's a narrative that is also a crowded space, but there's so much fatigue in it. And that's true. But if you look at what's actually happening and transpiring, it also, there's more players playing, more engagement, more games, and so on. And so. We have a great opportunity to find our audience with Highguard, Welch told PC Gamers. So basically, they're looking for whales that like competitive games that'll give them the money, and that's how they're going to make money. Okay, it says, quote, the shooter space has only continued to get larger. It's the rocket fuel of continues to propel the entire gaming segment. Shooters are 5 out of the top 10 games in terms of MAU, monthly active users on PC. So all the metrics and the KPIs and the CAGR's compound annual growth rate in the 5 and 3 category, growth in shooters is incredible. It continues to go at a 5% pace, ET Centra. It says it's true that despite the small number of games eating up the majority of the players, there's also simply way more people playing multiplayer shooters today than this generation ago. Even at the less popular ones, Highguard doesn't find the audience stable enough to stick around. It probably won't be because of yet another hero shooter. After all, Marvel Rivals came out just over a year ago, and it was an instant hit. Bro, it's an instant hit because it also took everything ahead of it. Okay? It's a hit because they're making banger fucking cosmetics for a brand that's been around for 80 plus years. Marvel did the legwork before. It just so happens that it came out in a right time that it's good, because it could easily fail. There's plenty of Marvel games that have failed, but the reason it's an instant hit is because they're doing a bang up job with the heroes they're throwing in, the cosmetics that they're doing. What does your game have? We have no idea what your characters are. There's no story. There's no backstory. We don't care about your characters, right? You made them look shitty, right? Marvel characters already look cool for what they are, okay? And they made them better, where your default characters are just shitty looking, and then you charge $18, $20 for cosmetic skins. Having played a few hours of Highguard with other press, my doubts are specific to unique game mode that also a whole game is built around. A multi-phase 3v3 tug of war where teams fight over the right of raid of each other's bases and blow up generators. I got complexity of depth, but I didn't go home jazzed to play it again. The dude that wrote this article was like, yeah, I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. I don't need to play anymore. Right? I watched streamer after streamer yesterday play it and then go, yeah, I'm good. I don't need to play this again. How is it that those people, multiple hundreds, thousands of people, say that the game is not done, and everyone's like, oh man, it's so great, so good. There's so many different things you can do. It's amazing. It's a 3v3 multiplayer game that other game modes do much better in their game, and it's a side project inside the other game. It's so baffling to me, chat. So baffling. Sarge says they don't, bro. They live in their own little world where history doesn't matter, and blaming everyone else is on the menu. Crowded says maybe even 5v5. I think they should add a 3v3, 5v5, 6v6, right? Even 8v8 they should add. But maybe they will, Crowded, right? Maybe they will. Maybe in 2 weeks they're going to add a bigger map or more players can play the game. But at that point, it's like done. It's like, why is the chat so goddamn large over here? What's happening over here? What's happening over here? Hold on. What's happening there? What is this? There we go. I was like, what's happening there? In the case they both, they just waiting for Altern to leave. I'll go with him. User says, Mike, I really think Highguard is going to Concord before Concord. I don't know, User. I think it lasts longer just because it's free to play. And they just admitted to themselves that they don't really need player count. So I think they're going to try it. But the best part is all these people that are defending the game, they are going to make changes. They're going to have to make changes. They're going to have to put more players in per match. They're going to have to make it less boring. They're going to have to change all of these things. But the problem is, too late. Cat's out of the bag. Good luck catching it. Crowd says, oh, so they planned for this. Gotcha. Yeah, they planned for low player base. Okay, says Marvel's had a massive advantage. Highguard is a nobody game with nobody characters, an environment with nobody yeah, to compare yourself to Marvel Rivals is absolutely. They just think it's a Marvel. They just think it's a game. They're like, it's just a regular hero shooter. No, Marvel's been around for 80 years, man. Sarge says the internet's going to internet. Get the fuck out of here. The game that has always been speaks for itself when they were going to learn. The answer. They are not. Blame everyone. Don't expect responsibility or accountability. Did they just compare Marvel Rivals to Highguard? They did. They did, Water. Clips is exactly how I feel. I'm good. It was fun for like 2 hours. Remember the other video we watched where they were talking about a good loop? They were talking about Arc Raiders. And the guy brought up the Halo video from like 20 years ago. And the guy said, our gunplay feels good, and it's got a good 30-second loop. And you can make a whole game of a 30-second loop. Apparently, Highguard didn't get the memo. They didn't get the memo. Jack says, what was the worst launch for a free-to-play game? Are they still around today? Can Highguard stick around longer than the ones that failed? I don't think it really doesn't matter. I think from the games that came in the past, there was less games back then. Now there's more games today than there was back then. So I don't think it lasts. I think this is in the exact same boat now, right? More high profile because Keeley and stuff, promoted it. This is the same ballpark as Splitgate 2 now, right? Splitgate 2's trying to find, they're grabbing for anything to try to get a player base, and Highguard's going to do the exact same thing. Justin says, the base empty map of 3v3. Come on. How dumb are they? I don't need a player count. What the hell does that work? How does that work? They just need a lot of people to buy microtransactions so they can't play games with other people. I don't know how that works. I don't play games for false promises. It's going to be better later. What's going on, Altair? Krebsy says they said Highguard is a mode. So when do they add the BR mode? Are they going to have a chest, armor, weapons, upgrades, etc.? If they add a battle royale, if they add a extraction, if they add whatever else later, Krebsy, it's over. It's over. Alende says, I have a 50% run rate in Highguard. Nice. You play 2 matches, and you won 1 and you lost 1. Altern says, Splitgate 2, which ironically was also promoted at one of Jeffy's events. It was. Unless they make a foundational and skeleton level changes to the game, they will stay actively worked on for a year and shut down by year 2. I think that's being graceful. I don't think they even get that long. They'll definitely get the first year, but I don't think they make it to a full 2 years. Ron says, but Road Company still hasn't shut down. What the fuck is Road Company? Hold on. Let me look that up. let me look that up. I don't know how this game's still alive. Rogue Company's got 187 people. I mean, if this is what you're going for, Highguard, congratulations. You're already there. Right? If this is what they're going for, fantastic. They went from 12,189 people on July of 2021, in August to 7,000, and then in September, 3,000. They actually lost less people than what Highguard did in 2 months than what they did in one evening. Altered says, Rogue Company is still active? Yeah, it is. Argus says you got to have all the major modes when the game launches and add content to the seasons on it after it launches. You bring in some game modes later, and the game won't last long enough for people to play them. They were adding a new game mode, I think, in season 3 or 4, if I'm not mistaken. El Dente says, damn, exceeding expectations if you have none. Exactly. They'll be like, well, we didn't really need a player base, so this is absolutely wonderful for us. This is absolutely wonderful for us. Let's refresh just to make sure. Yeah, it just keeps losing people. They get new people to try out the game, and they're like, no, I'm good. Yeah, amazing. It's amazing. And I'm not trying to give shit to Highguard. I'm giving shit to another company, okay, that tried to put a game out that's incomplete. I don't give a shit if it's free to play. It's incomplete. User says, Vagoda just called Highguard. It's a wrap, boys. Waterbear says, 30, do you think you're being too hard on Highguard? No, I do not. I think I could be harder. Devs don't, just as says, devs don't update the game anymore. You can only play certain modes. Ask me how I know. Oh, are you playing the other game just enough? Crowd says, if you actually watch the match and pay attention, half the game feels pointless, reinforcing and riding through empty map. Why? That's right. What's the point of structuring your building? If there's 4 walls, there's 3 guys on the team, right? There's 3 guys on the team. Ready? 3 guys on the team. There's 4 walls up front, 4 walls on the side, 4 walls over here, okay? And you can reinforce those walls. Okay, great. You're reinforcing those walls. Why? So they have slower options to get into your base when they're there. Great. But if there's 3 guys on the team and we each get 4 things to do, or I can reinforce walls or whatever, but they can just break those walls by taking more things. Because once I kill all 3 people, right? And it doesn't make any sense, because if I kill you, I don't want to actually kill you, just leave you there because you can get revived. Just let one other person run around the map trying to find his teammates, and then just go attack the thing. It makes no sense whatsoever. And then before that, you have to go mine some stuff. It's like, what are we doing? And then we made the map bigger. Why did they make the map bigger? Well, you don't want to run across the map. You want to use a mount. Well, mounts are cool. We could put that in the store. So they made a map bigger on a 3v3 map so you can have a mount, and then that mount can be microtransaction to look cooler. Tell me it wasn't part of the game design. We made bigger maps so we can have mounts, and then we can use the mounts to sell them in the store. I think we would also do a second year for keeping the servers on, but not support the actual game anymore. Just they won't have that to say the last and only a year failed faster than the other game. Well, I don't know. Concord failed in 13 days. Krabby says, then you have the performance issues, mouse and keyboard issues, former Respawn devs, and somehow movement is worse than Apex Legends. The gunplay is flat as well. How is 30 being too harsh to Highguard? The game is the game. Oh, Waterbear was just joking. Just enough says, I stopped checking it around 6 months ago. No longer in rotation. Was fun while it lasted. Let's just say, if you're having fun in Highguard, cool. But I'm not saying you, I'm just saying in general, if you like a game, cool. But you can't defend a game when people give it criticism and it's 100% justified, right? But people say that it's being review bombed right now. Water Bear says that, to be honest, they should have just went with the Battleborn method, 5v5 MOBA style. A lot of people thought it was MOBA style. And I was going to say, if it's MOBA style, I was laughing if it was going to be MOBA style, because Battleborn would have been... Battleborn, I hated the MOBA style part of that game, okay? The single-player game I liked. The MOBA part I didn't like, but it failed because of the MOBA part, not because of the single-player part. Argus says, the option of the map size that I saw was so that you can also have a horse to have more cosmetics to sell you. I personally think that it's also at the end of the day, also one thing is different than from other similar games. Yeah, they're great. They made the map bigger so you could get more horse armor. Hal says it's an enormous play field for 3v3. It's wild. How that got out of the studio and said, this is the game mode we're launching. If anything, you would launch with 6v6, okay? And then you would shrink it down to 3v3 as another mode. But you wouldn't promote the 3v3 as your main game mode on a giant map. It makes no sense. Dark Taco says Battleborn single player was actually fun. Yeah, it was fun. The reason that game failed is because of Battleborn's MOBA style, and it was going up against Overwatch. Wait, Jesse Max says, anyone Gotham City imposters, and it's still alive today. No, it's not. Stop it. Is it? What? 9 people. 9 people. Oh my God. Look at that crater. 7,000 people and then just falls off the cliff. It's been 800 people. 800 people or less since 2013. What is happening right now? What is 13 years that game's still on? I mean, God bless you if you're still playing it. I want to know exactly what about the game Jeff Keighley liked so much and promoted this game harder than almost any game that he's also supported before. I have no idea. Makoki says just another game where players are beta testers. That's right, Makoki. That's right. Krabby says, anyone see Destiny's clip that it's like my PC can't handle Highguard, but it says no to FOMO and the trials match, but they also put an image of the horse on the screen? No, I didn't see that. Amazing. This is I did not know that Gotham Imposters was still a thing. Like, how long do you wait for a match? Is it just one server? It's the same 9 people playing? Here we go. Here's the next one, chat. Here's the next story. Are you ready? You guys ready? I told you it's all Highguard today, baby. Highguard yesterday, Highguard today. It's in the rotation now. Okay? Because we just talk about gaming news that's happened. This is permanent. What's happening now, right? Screen Rant, Highguard. I've played it, Highguard, and I believe the hype. I believe the hype. If you guys like what I do here, we do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning till noon Eastern. If you like it, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. I just read the article for the first time, give you my thoughts and opinions, and then we get your thoughts and opinions in the live chat. Okay? So Highguard, I've played it. I played Highguard, and I believe the hype. Okay? Highguard is going to be one of the biggest surprises of 2026 for many gamers. What time did he write this? 1 p.m. yesterday. From the first sentence, it's going to go downhill from here. Okay? The very first sentence, Highguard is going to be one of the biggest surprises of 2026 for many gamers. At the Game Awards in December, many turned out to reveal that blockbuster titles like two new Tomb Raider games and a brand new Star Wars RPG, but many were curious about what may be the store for the final reveal. No. This slot is historically reserved for bombshell like Naughty Dog debuting the first look of Intergalactic, a heroic prophet. Many hope for something like Half-Life 3 this time around, but they were treated to something else. Highguard, a brand new shooter from the minds behind games like Apex Legends, Titanfall, and Call of Duty Modern Warfare. People were not impressed. And they already had so many free-to-play shooters that also looked like this and didn't look particularly unique. Okay, Highguard is a fresh shooter that invents a whole new genre. I believe the hype. What's the genre? Like nappy time? Hey guys, I'm playing. Guys, I'm playing Highguard. Here we go. Oh, I got a farm. Hold on a second. Oh, I gotta defend. Oh, so exciting. So exciting. Did you guys see the clip? Did you guys see the clip yesterday of Tim the Tap Man? And you know what? Well, we're going to pause this. I got to show you this. Is this it? Where is it? Here you go.
And now me and this other guy have to stop the shield breaker.
Can I not make it louder?
I'm sorry. This game is very, very boring.
That's bad. I can't hear him there. Hold on one second. Let me find a different one. The guy literally is done in the first match. Is there not a full? I can't find it. If someone can find that clip of Tim the Tap Man where he's in his game and the guy leaves like ASAP. He said, "I'm sorry, this is very boring." Yeah, he left. Tim and Ninja were laughing their ass off because the random they were playing with is like, "Guys, I'm sorry, I can't play. This game is so boring." Not even one match. Not even one match. No, Tim's not the person that wanted to quit. The rando that they were playing with quit on them in the middle of the match. It was like, yeah, this game is too boring. Okay, so after playing about 6 hours of Highguard, I can safely say this is one of the freshest and most fun shooters from one of the most passionate teams I've ever met. These are some of the people that have also made not just one, but several of the best shooters in the last 15 years. They know that they also what they're doing, and they want to shake things up, and they have. Highguard is a raid shooter, a new genre pioneered by developer Wildlight. 2 teams of 3 will go head-to-head, not to get the most kills or the best loot, but to destroy the enemy base. Each team starts in the match and fortifies their own base, similar to Rainbow Six Siege, before setting out to go and loot. Eventually, this leads to both teams clashing somewhere on the map over a giant sword known as the Shield Breaker, which allows whoever wields it to breach the bubble and protects the base. Once you breach, you have to plant the bomb around the base and defend them. Each successful blow to the base takes away from the defender's health bar, but if you're able to successfully repel the attack, the attackers will lose health from their base. Okay. It says, all of this fueled by driven by Apex Legends-esque gameplay and colored loot armor, punchy gunplay, and momentum-based movement. Creative director Jason McCord told Screen Rant, and the goal was to make people feel comfortable on the sticks with familiar gameplay, but challenge their brains with a whole new objective. Did you guys feel challenged yesterday? I'm truly asking. Did you feel? Did you have it, Krebsy? Okay, thank you very much.
It's so dumb. Now you're in a 2v3.
Hey guys, I'm sorry. This game is very, very boring. I'm done.
Oh, he's gonna leave.
All right, our random.
Yeah.
Oh, you're gonna leave?
Bro, I don't know. This game is...
Yo, bro played one game and he's out, dude. Yo. He played one game and he's like, yeah, I'm good. Died.
Yeah.
Thanks, Krebsy. It's so ridiculous. So ridiculous. Okay. It says it close to Apex, but also put a lot of the same people in the same room and tell them to make something they like. It's going to be taste similar, he said. You should also be able to feel very comfortable on the sticks, but your brain is engaged to do different things, okay? Highguard succeeds at having very simple objective and taking the enemy base down, but layers it with so much depth that you have mounts that allow you to quickly get around the map and the ability to earn currency to upgrade your loot and a bunch of tools that creative sandbox-style combat. I don't even know what to say about this paragraph. Shadow says, no, everyone I watched felt bored and hated the tutorial section. Yeah, the tutorial section was miserable. The trial, the first match is also boring as hell. And then the first match is also boring as hell. Right? I love that they said this, right? The whole thing here. They're trying to sell you on things that are they're like, bro, but the layers, it's so much depth. Like, you have mounts that allow you to quickly get around the map that they made big enough with 3v3 to sell you on mounts, right? The ability to earn currency to upgrade your loot to keep you in the game grinding to earn loot. And a bunch of tools that you don't need because you have a fucking gun and you can shoot the crystal. Why would I break it with a pickaxe that I have to do a mini game for? Oh, groundbreaking things here. During one of my matches, my squad was searching for the sword. It was ambushed out of it in the open, and they were pinned down by snipers and suppressing fire. But I had picked up a zipline launcher earlier in the match, and this was a rare zipline launcher, which gave it a modifier that allowed anyone riding it to be to turn invisible. So I shot the zipline behind the enemies. Man, he's making this sound much better, right? Zipline behind enemies, and then rode across while I was cloaked, giving me the ability to flank them entirely unseen. It's moments like this that make Highguard so exciting. One well-thought-out moment. Handy piece of loot can even odds in the fight. Oh, brilliant. Oh, the zip line. That sounds fantastic. You could get on a zip line and you could be invisible. Oh. Highguards always gives the underdog a chance to come back as well. There are many different systems in place to allow people to backfoot the opportunity to turn things around. Defenders have a chance to score by successfully countering the attack, and then they can try to go on the offense to deal a killing blow to the enemy's base. For instance, it's a very well-balanced game that manages to retain the tension at all times. Did I play a different game? Did I see for 5 hours a different game? It's a very well-balanced game that manages to retain the tension at all times. Victory isn't assured until the game is over, which means you can never let your guard down. That's what it should be called. Not high guard. Guard down. As for the game's characters, known as wardens, the actual powers you possess in Highguard largely are terribly unique. Okay, it's kind of stuff that you can find in a game like Valorant with heroes putting up the walls of ice and cover up the blocks of flanking routes. But the abilities make players feel very powerful. I literally had the guy with the claws, like Black Panther, dude. Okay, I couldn't kill anybody. I ran through the guy, couldn't kill anybody. Like, I was like, what's happening with these claws? This is my ult ability, right? My special ability. I can slice people. I can bust walls, but I can't hurt people with the claws. I was confused. Okay. My main character during the playtime, okay, lightning-wielding hero who can also throw electric rods at enemies and passively deal small damage to anyone near it. Its ultimate allows him to fly into the air and shoot lightning down the foes like Zeus, making you feel exceptionally powerful. This guy, let me tell you something. He's making Highguard sound so much better than what it is. So much better. Okay? These characters are proof of Wildlight's desire to let anyone turn the game around at any time. These characters can turn the tide of battle with ease. Think of a Wild Time ultimate. If the enemy is steamrolling your team inside your base, active your ult and push them back, and you can regroup and potentially fend off the entire attack to have another fighting chance. After playing the game for a bit, I brought some feedback to the developers and suggested a mechanic that would also allow you to sort of eject off the mount to gain some momentum and propel yourself towards the over enemies. I also asked if it was also feasible to add a third team with their own base, if it turns out that they just thought all of this and much more. Well, it's good. So there's proof there, right? This guy's giving them tips, and then they're like, no. All of this is already thought of, and it's in the game. We're just not putting it out in the game at launch. It's next level. Highguard is the final product of 4 years iteration. According to designer Carlos told me that the game is noticing like what they set out to make initially, beyond the core idea of raiding bases. Initially, it was 8 teams. Here you go, guys. Are you ready for this? Initially, it was 8 teams fighting against each other. But the matches went on for hours, and no one was making any real progression. They kept whittling it down and discovered that 2 teams was the optimal structure. Yeah, 2 teams. Not 8 teams. They had 8 teams of 3. All you had to do was move the other teams over to the same teams and have 2 teams with more people. What are we talking about? They had 24 people. 24 people on the map. They're like, that was too much. Well, yeah, because this person's attacking this person, and this person's attacking this person, and this person's attacking this person, and they were just kept going back. If you had 2 teams of 12 people each, for Christ's sake, they kept whittling it down to discover that 2 teams was the optimal structure. Oh my God. They had 8 teams. 8 teams fighting each other. The team would also either have nothing to do. Here you go. Wait, they kept whittling it down, right? And the structure in the third team would either have nothing to do or annoyed other players too much to interrupt raids. And their fix of this was to remove the other 6 teams. Okay, 6 teams. And put 2 teams of 3. Amazing. Amazing. The team trusted the process, had confidence, and they also had something unique in oversaturated market, and focused on making the most easy to understand and accessible yet fun game they could make. Easy and most accessible. Less confusing. Okay, we'll get to that. Let's put a pin in that. All right, the story and how this game has also came into be just an interesting game itself. A bunch of talented people who worked on Respawn Entertainment and other AAA studios left their jobs to make a new studio. Congratulations, getting away from the other guys. They weren't fired. There was no big dramatic exile. It was simply a desire to do something new. Fantastic. And again, I give them credit, trying something new. Creative director Jason McCord has done it twice now. He worked on the original Modern Warfare series, Infinite War, and just left after the release of Modern Warfare 2. He then rounded a few dozen other developers left at Vince Zampella and Jason West to find Respawn Entertainment, eventually creating games like Titanfall and Apex Legends. Now he's doing it again with Wildlight, felt trapped in working in creativity-safe projects of EA-owned studio. He says, you can almost get trapped in games that you're working on, said McCormick. In both of those scenarios, we had a very successful game. I loved Apex. I loved staying there in a very comfortable job. But there was also a itch I wanted to do. Something new. And then it won't work on Apex, and it can't go try somewhere else because Apex successful and have kept working on it. For others, like lead designer, who was also a part of the Infinite War team, has also moved to Respawn. It was different. He loved the people he was working with and wanted to follow them to wherever they went. Pretty early on in my career, I thought that was also important to work on a specific game and a specific kind of company. All right, let me see what else. Unlike Respawn, Wildlife is an independent developer and will be self-publishing Highguard. Well, congratulations to them. I'm a little blown away that they had 8 teams. 8 teams, and they narrowed it down to 2 teams of 3. Fantastic. All right, let me see what you guys are saying in chat. I see you, Kicker. Kicker's like, this guy's a hater. He just wants to see games fail. Argus says he's invisible on the zip line, but wouldn't they see the zip line itself go up? Yeah, but you don't know anyone's on it. It's a magical zip line. It's like Harry's cloaking device. Guardian down. Where's Dinklebot? The game is already doing a good job of being a failure by itself. Let's do a quick check-in. Let's do a quick check-in. Right? Did it go up or down? It's like the stock market. Oh, it went up. It went up 30 people. Fantastic. Let's see. It sounds like a script and the devs wrote for them. Yep. 4 years of wasted. Got it. Sarge says always better to release a full game 18 months down the road. Yep. It's going to be great 12 months from now. Crowded says 2 teams of 5, not 3, dipshit. They were trying to make an RTS. Optimal for their workload, maybe. Bot for actual game. Krebsy says 5v5 with PvE helping each team. Maps are not too big. Just buy a faster mount. Shadow says the maps are easily big enough for 6v6. Oh, 100%. 100%. Chopper Eric says 3v3 of the maps, they look like they can handle 6v6. Easily 6v6. There's no way you guys like that approved this game as it is right now. They're going to have to put it in fries in a bag after this one. Yeah, I don't know. Congrats on making a turd like Highguard. Eclipse says, and this is bullshit. I played the character that could be invisible. Everyone saw me. Well, that's because you weren't on the zip line. You weren't on the zip line, Eclipse. Didn't you hear how he said it? I got behind enemy lines. I popped that zip line across and got there and saved my team. Woo! Like, what? It's because you weren't on the zip line. Real quick, right? I want to go to, this is Co-Carnage, right? Co-Carnage, right? He's a very trusted source. He plays the games. He gives them shots, right? He doesn't give you his opinion until after he plays it. And here's his opinion. Here's his opinion on Highguard, his early thoughts. Okay, he put about 2.5 hours in. Let's see what he has to say.
Early thoughts video on Highguard. Highguard is a very interesting free
I like how he says was.
to play game from some makers of Apex and other games. And it was announced at the Game Awards in kind of the golden goose slot at the very end of the show to a lot of skepticism. It seemed from the trailer that we saw that it was a relatively average game following some not so great trends in the industry. And after that, the devs went totally silent while Jeff, the leader of that said game show, promoted the heck out of it over the following 2 weeks. And then just today, it released into...
I don't know if he promoted the heck out of it, but he did promote it where they didn't.
...to the ether after a very brief wind-up of just a few days confirming its existence. And here we are. I've now played it for about 2.5 hours, and I can safely say it is very much, pretty much what I was expecting.
I love how he takes a pause. Like, before he even says what he's about to say, you already know what he's about to say, right? Let me rewind it just a second, right?
And what that is, and I can safely say it
right there. The silence that he takes right before he's about to speak, you're like, I know what you're about to say.
It is very much pretty much what I was expecting.
Which we all were expecting. What we saw at the Game Awards and said, this is just another multiplayer slop game. That's exactly what it is.
And what that is it is a collection of game mechanics we have seen before. Some interesting, kind of fun, newer ones in a pretty standard first person.
You know what's funny to me? It's funny to me that people are saying that it's the fun mechanics like planting a bomb and then waiting for the timer to go down, which has been in Battlefield games and Call of Duty games and Rainbow Six games. It's not new, right? Busting down walls to get into the building to plant the bomb on the thing is not new. Battlefield did this back in the day. Many other games did this back in the day. Fucking the Finals is a much better game. If you want to go play a competitive 3v3 game, go play the Finals. It is far superior to what this game is.
Person kind of arena, and kind of like the trailer looked, it does play, in my opinion, a little above average. Like the game, like the gunplay. I really like the mount mechanic. The gameplay loop is interesting, but we'll get to that.
Interesting meaning boring.
In a minute. And it definitely has some good things going for it. I think that as a free-to-play game, as long as the devs really stick with it, I think when this game gets more game modes.
Complete? You mean complete?
When they fine-tune the performance, which is a big issue right now, and they kind of add in, I would argue, a little bit more feedback for especially like initial casual players to like what you're supposed to be doing and when. I think that this game could get to be very cool. And I do hope they
12 months from now.
Stick with it and kind of add a bunch more game modes and larger player maps and things like that. All of that being said, right now, it is a 3v3 competitive hero shooter with a gameplay loop that is not really complex, but more, I will say advanced, more complicated than a standard game like this. It's going to take a few rounds to really understand how to play the game properly. And then on top of that, it's 3v3, which means that everybody needs to kind of know what they're doing.
Right. If you have one person that doesn't know what they're doing, it's a terrible experience.
For your team to...
Where if you have 6v6, you can have one or two people on your team that's like, I don't really know what's going on, but it's okay because there's other people holding you back. If you have one guy on your team that doesn't know what they're doing, you're already down.
Succeed. And then on top of that, there basically what I'm getting to, the point I'm getting to here is that this is not the next Ark Raiders. This is not the next Marvel Rivals. This
is barely a game.
Game is a little more complex than I think that most casual players are going to be used to. The feedback is not quite there in terms of exactly what you should be doing and when. It is a gameplay loop that I think is going to be awesome and refined over time for like a smaller, more dedicated community. So I think it's going to be the kind of thing where there's going to be probably a tight-knit Highguard community that are really getting into that loop. And I do think that if everyone in the game really knew what they were doing and understood the game, those rounds are probably way, way more fun.
Sure.
Than the rounds we're seeing now, which...
And even if you get to that point, the maps are too big. It's got way too many boring parts up until the action parts. And those are fundamental problems in the game, even if you know and enjoy what the game is.
First round, for instance, none of us really knew what we were doing. And by the end of it, the other two players were definitely kind of like, man, that was a lot. That was a bunch, you know? And that's not really, again, for kind of like the masses, we'll say, the kind of the casual player, I think they're going to play a few rounds and feel like, this is too much. So that's unfortunate. I definitely thought with kind of the way this game was being hyped that it was going to have a broad kind of the next big thing appeal. It does not have that, in my opinion. It is not a Concord, which I'm already...
I agree with that. It's not a Concord because Concord, there was a bunch of other stuff going on with Concord, right? This is not a Concord. It's fun to say it's Concord, though.
Already getting asked a bunch, is this Concord 2? No. This game has far more passion, far more design. You can tell that there were people working on this game that were trying...
Sure, but the game's not done.
Trying to do something cool. But it just... being shadow dropped like this, and I feel like it really could have benefited from like
I think if it would have been an actual shadow drop, it would actually, we wouldn't have all this expectations on what they showed at the Game Awards a month and a half ago. If we didn't know anything about the game and it dropped, I think people would be a lot more lenient with it, because we got shown it. And if you watch the very beginning of my stream, because of what Jeff Keighley did, it's like a social contract, right? Where you promoted this thing, and then there's repercussions to that. We're like, oh, we should be watching this. This is the next thing. This guy who runs a video game show is telling us that this game's good. And then it comes out and it's like, wah, wah, which kind of hurts him and kind of hurts the show and kind of hurts everybody. But if it was just shadow dropped and nobody said anything about this game, like we didn't know about it. No one talked about it up until yesterday. All of a sudden, they're like, hey, did you guys see that game? Highguard? It just came out. We would have been like, oh, I'll give it a shot. We would have still seen that the game is broke and it's not complete and it still needs another 12 months, but it would have gotten a lot less hate for it because we're like, oh, it's an early access game. It's a free-to-play early access game.
Open beta. I feel like it could have benefited from
100% open beta
and then giving them feedback to fine-tune it, because with a few smaller changes, I think this game could be a lot more fun.
Sure.
For instance, I am very much in the boat that like a 5v5 minimum, and I mean,
agreed, 5v5 minimum.
I think 8 versus 8 could be fun in this game.
Yep.
But 3v3, especially with how complex the loop is and everything, it would be real hard for me to play this game without friends and like want to do well. Because I feel like I get that MOBA feeling of like needing my team members to do what they're doing and needing, and that's again, that's just going to kind of like telescope that niche level down. So TLDR, Highguard. Oh, it is an average to above average game. This is not going to be the big grand scale flop that I think a lot of people were thinking. I think
here's one okay, just enough said. I think its boring part will be less boring when people figure out that what to do. Right now, people are riding around aimlessly looking for loot. Once they know where to go, they'll either farm or fight. The part of getting ready for the thing, I'm trying to think of, there's a game called Foxhole, right? Foxhole is a strategy game, okay? And there's resources around the map. And if you want the oil, you have to go to the oil. And if you go to the oil, then you have to defend the oil, and then you have to hold that position so you can mine the stuff, okay? Right now, you're just running around just mining stuff. No one's bothering you because there's stuff on their side, there's stuff on your side, and cool. Okay. What they need to do in this game is make it where there's a spot that shows up, and then that is the actual resources that you're all fighting for. Okay. And then when you fight for it, then you get it. So there's fight there going on, there's fight over here going on, and you're trying to establish dominance over the other people while you're pushing the other person's base, while there's a sword going on, while there's other stuff going on. Not this, let's set up, let's do this. It's super boring. Super boring.
It's going to be a game that we're going to see over time. I really, really hope that this initial negative reception isn't going to do enough damage for them to have to like rethink their investment in the game. That is a concern. I mean, right now on Steam, I think people in chat are saying it's at like 19%. That's not great for a free-to-play game because a lot of people look at that number and when they decide to download it, and that's tough. 17% now. So I do wish the dev team the best, because I hope that they can kind of fine-tune this a little bit more, because I think that with the right kind of just a little bit harder push over the finish line, this could be a lot more palatable to a lot more people. I mean, just having a CTF mode in this game would have been night and day. I would have probably switched to that mode and just come back tonight and play more of it. But the fact
just
that
have
the only thing I
capture the flag
do is this kind of 3v3 raid, like, I don't know if I'm going to go back until I can do more. It was.
I think they messed up a lot, right? I think they messed up not marketing the game. I think they messed up by putting a 3v3 raid type mode in. Just having that one game mode, I think, is really bad. Bad choice there. Bad choice not to market. Bad choice for the 3v3. Bad choice for the actual game mode. There's a lot of choices I don't think they should have done. Juby says Wildgate has multiplayer teams instead of only 2, and it's a 3D movement with spaceships acting on movable bases. 3v3 or 12v12 would be better than 3v3, v3, 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 v3. I have not played Highguard yet. Highguard, give it a shot. Give it a shot. It's a free to play, and let us know if you become bored really fast or it clicked with you. Krabby says I would love to see a player count with $40 price tag. You know, it's funny, Krebsy, if you put a $40 price tag, and based on the article that we read, they said they're not looking for player count. I think they would have gotten their core audience from that, and they would have made more money off of that than the free-to-play model. Because now the game is bad, and people are not going to go play it. Where if they played it for the $40, those people will be like, oh, I kind of like this because they feel obligated now because they paid $40, and they would put time into it and then learn the mechanics, and then they would also be that core audience they were looking for. Eric says, I think the most people don't want to waste their time trying to figure out what game out, figure the game out. I think in all games there's a time frame to figure it out, but you can also see you can see the ending. Like, why am I doing this? Oh, I'm doing this so I can do this. Okay, I'm doing this so I can do that. Highguard, you don't see that. Like, you can see the end of the road. You're like, oh, I'm doing this so I can win. I'm winning so I can get the currency. I'm taking the currency so I can get the battle pass stuff, or the free battle pass type of thing. Once I'm done with the battle pass, then what? What am I doing? What else am I getting? What other, you know what I mean? Shao says, I think it would also die no matter what. All depends on how they also devs respond to the player feedback. Well, the funny part is I think they will respond to the player feedback, which then makes the people that are defending the game wrong, because they're like, oh, they're defending it because they hate it. No, the people that hate it want the game to get better, hence why they're giving their criticism. And then the developers listen to the criticism, and then they make the changes. And if the developers make the changes, that means they also agree that, yeah, well, people are not playing our game, and we need to change the game. So it doesn't matter if the people that are not giving criticism, because they're going to play whatever anyway, right? Because they don't care. They're like, oh, everything's perfect. But the people that want the game to be better is like, hey, you need to put 5v5, you need to put capture the flag. And they're like, oh, you know what? We're doing capture the flag. 5v5 capture the flag. Everyone's like, wow, this is a much better game. Come on back, guys, right? Because we've listened. And when they do that, they win the player base back. If they don't, well, then they have the people that defend it and nobody else, and then the game dies. Concord's another level. This is still time for Highguard to be a grand scale flop. They have to adjust now. 2 weeks, they said their next update is. They better put a different game mode in, and it better work. Otherwise, don't put it in. User says, just because it's free doesn't mean anyone should play it. Time is the most valuable currency. 100%. That's why I say respect the player's time. Eric Jones says, I just think if this game had a $40 price tag, I kind of think they would have exactly what they have right now. They would have people that paid $40, and they would have their core base. That's what they would have, instead of looking for their core base right now. There's a clip out there of people matchmaking when concurrent was at like 8,300, and it says not enough players are turning. That was saying that when there was 67,000 people, Krebsy, there was people that couldn't match because everyone was in a game, and the people that were in a match would be 5 or 6, and they would kick them back out. All right, let's go from that to, we already got that clip. I think we already read this one. Ultimately, we could have made a different trailer. Highguard CEO responds to a poorly received Game Award reveal, which we already kind of read, so we don't need to read that one. Here's the next story. If you guys like what I do, we do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning till noon Eastern. If you like it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. Highguard launches to a brutal Steam reviews, disastrous debut for the new PvP shooter. Highguard's long-awaited debut has also been met with a wave of negative Steam reviews, with players citing bugs, balance issues, and lack of meaningful content. A rough start for a game that needed a strong first impression. All games need first impressions. That's why they're called first impressions. Highguard finally hit Steam, and the players immediately hit back. The new PvP shooter is drowning in negative reviews, with complaints ranging from bugs to balance issues to why did they even launch today vibes. Is not that debut anyone was hoping for, right? And again, it makes you wonder, why did they, right? Why did they launch today or yesterday? They could have waited. They didn't need to launch if the game wasn't done, but they think their game is done. They thought the minimal viable product was going to be a massive hit, right? So they saw 97,000 people try it on Steam and whoever tried it on consoles and whatnot, and they were like, it's a hit. Okay, but then they're like, oh, what happened? So after its overwhelming poor reception, when it closed out of Jeff Keighley's Game Awards last year, Highguard seemed primed for a major redemption push, with people accepting huge marketing push after the game's reveal. Instead, the developer opted to near radio silence that only changed a couple of days before the launch event, which also took place today, as a full release across Xbox Series X, S, PC, and PlayStation 5. For those unfamiliar with the Highguard, it's a 3v3 PvP raid shooter that blends traditional gunplay and mounted combat, included horses and other fantasy-inspired elements that you can buy in the cosmetic store. I added a little bit there. Okay, believe it or not, I'm actually rooting for Highguard. More games in this space is a good thing, and different titles that also try to blend genres and rarely are a bad idea. Since the game is first revealed, however, it's also felt like almost everyone except Jeff Keighley himself has had it out for this project. No, it's not that we've had it out for it. We knew exactly what it was when we saw it. And when it landed, it made exactly the same thing that we knew it was going to be. We're like, yeah, it's going to be a sloppy PvP game. Here it comes. And there it is. And he was the only person seamlessly marking the game before it launched today. Now the game is finally here, and at least the Steam and sentiment does not appear to have shifted. Just a few hours after launch, Highguard's Steam ratings is already sitting at overwhelmingly negative. Many reviewers come from players with only a couple of hours of logged in, but the complaints are largely consistent. Why does it matter? Why does it matter if I have criticism, if it's 0 amount of time in, or 10 minutes, or 1 hour, right? Does my criticism go away? If I don't like your game, I don't like your game. Right? I don't need to play your game for 5 hours to say I don't like your game. I don't like your game. And I can make my opinion heard by saying I don't like your game. Just like you can say I like the game. It's as simple as that. Okay? At the end of the day, the budget used for the game and the amount of people that they have in the game paying for stuff to make money, that's how they decide if a game is successful or not successful. Game is not successful if I say it's not successful. Game is not successful if I say it's successful, right? The masses make it unsuccessful or successful. Highguard is a free-to-play, so there's still a lot of time for a knee-jerk reaction and low-effort reviews to fade out. Even so, if it's not an encouraging start to the shooter that was already fighting an uphill battle that they've created themselves. If you read the other articles that we just read, they put a rush trailer out, not explaining what their game was. They didn't market it for the next 6 weeks. They have an incomplete game when the game comes out. It's not optimized. It's 3v3. It's boring in parts. They didn't have a beta test. This is not our fault. None of this is our fault. 0 is our fault. Sorry about that. All right, Highguard, okay, this is only one side of the coin. While not all reviews are currently in, several critics have already highlighted positives, particularly Highguard's core gameplay, and it blends of different elements. Okay. For now, the developers are not chasing massive player count. Instead, the focus appears to be on building a smaller, dedicated core audience, and that approach is not inherently a bad thing. I mean, I truly believe if they had a $40 price tag, they would have that player base. That would be their hardcore audience right there. Give me 1 second, guys. Chat, give me 1 second. I'll be gone for like 5 minutes or so. I'm going to give you a short break, listen to some music, all right?
Yo, 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 yo. Yeah, used to be wars, now it's open doors. Gamers everywhere, no matter the store. Multi-platform rise, let's go. Cross-play, cross-life, everybody getting hype. Xbox, PlayStation, Switch, PC in sight. No more fences, we're breaking the chains. Gamers worldwide all share the same game. Cross-play, cross-life, everybody getting hype. Xbox, PlayStation, Switch, PC in sight. No more fences, we're breaking the chains. Gamers worldwide all share the same game. Remember the times when the console wars burned? Had to pick a side, bridges never got turned. Exclusive drops kept us stuck in the fight. Now they shipping everywhere and it feeling right. Halo hit Steam, Kratos left home. Sony cross seas, now we standing on Chrome. Call of Duty don't care where you log in, whether blue, green, red, everybody's locked in. Back then, bragging like my box the best. Now it's yo, what you playing on? That's the real flex. Squads don't split, we unite for the win. Whether PC frames or a pad in your hand. Nintendo still holding Mario tight, but even rumors say Zelda might take flight. From couch to the cloud, from a disc to a stream. Gaming's for us all, that's the multiplied dream. Cross-play, cross-life, everybody getting hype. Xbox, PlayStation, Switch, PC in sight. No more fences, we're breaking the chains. Gamers worldwide all share the same game. Cross-play, cross-life, everybody getting hype. Xbox, PlayStation, Switch, PC in sight. No more fences, we're breaking the chains. Gamers worldwide all share the same game. Game Pass rolling, making deals on the low. Sony dropping ports, watch the fan base grow. Even the Switch getting big boy drops. Monster Hunter, Fortnite can't make it stop. Epic and Steam, once fighting for the crown. Now it's like, yo, let the players get down. Cloud stream service, you can play on a phone. Doesn't matter where, you ain't playing alone. From Tekken to FIFA, from Destiny raids, everybody linking up, no matter the shade. Fanboys crying, but the world too loud. Gamers stand tall, multi-platform and proud. Imagine back then if they saw this day. Master Chief on PlayStation, Kratos on Game Pass Play. Sonic and Mario shook hands long ago. Now it's every IP learning how to grow. So no more division, the culture's too wide. We gaming together, controllers collide. This is the future, man, it ain't pretend. Every platform, every player gaming won't end. Cross-play, cross-life, everybody getting hype. Xbox, PlayStation, Switch, PC in sight. No more fences, we're breaking the chains. Gamers worldwide all share the same game. Cross-play, cross-life, everybody getting hype. Xbox, PlayStation, Switch, PC in sight. No more fences, we're breaking the chains. Gamers worldwide all share the same game. Cross-play, no wars, just games we adore. Platform forever, that's what we're here. No wars, just games we adore. Platform forever, that's what we're here for. Oh yeah, yeah. Stay tuned. Everybody stand up, yeah, like I stayed up. We been away, yeah. It started in the movies, Katniss with a bow. The Hunger Games planted seeds we didn't even know. Kids on Minecraft servers built a game to survive. Chest spawns in the center, only one walks out alive. Blocks turn to bullets, squares in the skies. A new way to play, a new way to rise. From mods to modes, the idea caught fire. One winner standing, that's all we require.
All right. Sorry about that, chat. Where were we? We're talking about... Is this the one we were on? Yeah, so for now, developers are now chasing massive player counts instead of focusing appear to be on building a smaller, dedicated core audience. And approach is not inherently a bad thing. Whether Highguard can avoid a Concord 2.0 comparison long-term remains to be seen. That said, the reported peak of nearly 100,000 concurrent players on Steam has already surpassed Concord's peak 697. Well, the problem is I don't know why we're comparing. You shouldn't be comparing. You shouldn't be comparing this game to Concord, right? Like that's not what you want to do. Right? Just take this game on its own. It's not a complete game, right? You can look at the entire roadmap that they have, how they're adding they have 8 now in the game, and they're adding an additional I think 6 for the rest of the year, adding new maps, new modes. But that's not now. Right now, the game mode that they initially started with, the 3v3, is not good enough for what they want to do for this game. All right? Here's another article from 13 hours ago. Kylo says, I'd rather play Hightail. Son just came in and asked 30 and he can play Highguard? No, he's not here. He's at school. You can have an audience, but if you're not playing, then the game won't last. Yeah. They don't want to look. Apparently, they can have 3v3, just have 6 people playing the game and be good, I guess. All right. Here's the next story. Okay. Highguard is fine when you don't have an internet in your ear telling you it's nasty. Here's the thing, man. Just play the game for yourself, and you can tell if it's a good game or bad game. Again, if the game is good, then they're not going to make changes. But I can guarantee you they're going to make changes. Do you know why? Because the game's not good. If you guys like what I do, we do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning till noon Eastern. If you like it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. Right? I'll give you my thoughts and opinions, and then you get your thoughts and opinions from the chat. Right? Highguard is fine when you don't have the internet in your ear telling you it's nasty. It's well made, but I don't see Highguard becoming a habit. Okay? Let's set aside the noxious cloud of the internet surrounding Highguard for a second. Ignore those overwhelming negative Steam reviews full of folks who've played it for less than an hour and pretend Highguard is just a new free-to-play FPS and that came out today. Hey, Highguard is out. I played around 6 hours between launch day and preview event in Los Angeles last week. It's got slick gunplay, a neat 3v3 mode, and it's never been seen anywhere else. And the business model that sounds less scummy than most free shooters, it's pretty fun. I don't think I love it. Okay. I will commend Wildlight Entertainment for a 100-person studio of mostly ex-Respawn devs for coming up with the format so weird yet functional that you can't easily compare it. They can call it a raid shooter, which is also appropriate of winning comes down to blowing the other team's base to smithereens. Highguard matches take place on a large map shared by 6 total players. There's your first massive flaw in the entire game. 6 players on a giant map. Team begins their fortress fortitude and breaking walls, the amount up as set off to a loot at the map. These phases play out like an accelerated battle royale match, rushing to find better guns and armor, but usually not immediately fighting the other team. Okay, violence tends to break out once the sword breaker, and the literal sword, spawns in the middle of the map. First team to grab it and carry it to the enemy's base triggers a siege. This is called kickball, by the way. You put the ball in the middle, you run towards the middle, you grab the ball, and then proceed to destroy the other team. Okay? Again, if they just move the resources to a spot where if I need these crystals and you need those crystals, then we need to fight over these crystals. Right? That should be part of the actual thing, not I'm sitting behind enemy. I'm staying on my side of the base, finding crystals. They're finding crystals. We're matching up. That's not what it should be. Okay? Unlike Battle Royale circles that force enemy squads to clash by pushing them forward to the center, the shield breaker naturally draws a lobby to it. Once it appears, getting it is the only thing that matters. Okay? Reverse capture the flag was how Highlight described the first phase of the match, and so far, it's my favorite. Well, it's the only thing. There's no other game mode. All right, there's real tension to fighting over the big glowing sword, especially because the distance between the shield breaker spawn and each base is just large enough that you can also die. Respawn at your base and set up the last ambush of your reach of your walls, or let the other team grab the sword and then chase them down on your mounts. Wouldn't it be better, chat? And just in my opinion here, instead of having the sword in the center at the beginning, you have the resources and you go for the resources, and then you get the resources and you fight over those resources to then. Right? You could do 2 things. You could just storm them, okay, and try to break them down before they get the resources. Or You gather the resources, then build up your base instead of just having time, boring, slow, monotonous. Okay, I'm looking for crystals. Okay, now I'm just going to fill up my fill up the walls and make them harder to knock down, even though you can destroy them super fast anyway. Regardless, it doesn't take that long to do it. Okay. It just makes no sense the way they're putting it. Now, I do think the sword in the center is probably the best thing that they have, where you do get it and then you do the siege. That stuff is cool. But leading up to that is so boring. So boring. Or you let other teams grab the sword, it says, okay? Once the siege starts, Highguard slows down, mounts are stowed, defenders take up Overwatch positions, and rules change to bomb format similar to Rainbow Six Siege, but with respawns. That's right. Right down to the blend of the destructible and non-destructible walls that make you up to each base. Blow up 2 generators, or harder to reach ones, core, and you win. Fail to do enough damage before attackers run out of lives, and both teams reset and do another shield breaker round. It sounds complicated. It is complicated, and especially when the layers of the upgrade store gadgets and character abilities have even covered. But I can't deny it works. After a few matches that were barely understood, where I barely understood what was happening, and a new tug-of-war dynamic clicked, I found the Warden I liked, and great matches were had. Okay. Still, I'm bouncing off Highguard for reasons other than it's a clever mode. I don't like the arcane punk art style at all. It also sucks to dump entire magazines into enemies just to break their shields, just like it does in Apex Legends, and the siege phase is too chaotic to read what's going on. Oh, there's a lot of... Are you a hater? This guy's a hater. More than anything, though, Highguard is ill-timed for me to enjoy it. For the better part of this year, I've been glued to more casual, multi-mode shooters, both old and new. Case in point, after a full day of Highguard in Los Angeles last week, I came home to play hours of a new indie-era arena shooter out of action. Now, that's a cool-ass game. Before queuing up for a big team battle in Halo MCC with friends. The success of Battlefield 6 and Arc Raiders suggests I'm not alone. We're in the middle of a vibe shift towards the sweaty, more social shooters. Call it a hero shooter, burnout taste, naturally moving before of somebody swinging back to another direction. But Highguard is sweeping at my matchbook and lighting no fire. I keep playing because I'm reviewing it. Stay tuned for that. But I don't see Highguard becoming a habit. Okay? So I like the way he wrote it. I do. That he told you what it was, and there's actually good parts of it. But he also said, yeah, I'm not going to stop playing the games I'm already playing to go play this. And at that point, does it really matter if you stop listening to the internet? Okay, because if I had stopped listening to the internet, then I would have to stop listening to him actually tell me what he liked or didn't like about the actual game, right? So, again, Highguard, I just think, didn't execute its actual release. It failed. It failed as a game that's releasing yesterday, and there's not enough to do in the actual game. We burn through content super fast, and when the loop is not good, okay? There is a loop in this game that is good, but to get to that loop, you have to go through the non-good part to get to the good part, and that's a problem with the actual game. Fundamental problem with that game. Krabsy says 49% of the people didn't make it past 1 hour. Yeah, we saw with Fran's tweet. Crowded House says, Mike, Destin has a good video for Highguard as well. Should we watch that? You want to watch that? Here's a weird one. Ready? Where you got Deadlock, which is Steam, right? Deadlock, at the time of this picture being taken, which was at 6 or 7 last night, 44,000 people were playing Highguard, 81,000 were playing Deadlock, and Deadlock shot up because they put a new character in. All right, I already showed those numbers. Paul Tassie's got an article. Paul Tassi has an article. 8 things wrong with Highguard. Let me just scroll down. Okay, 8 things. Optimization is bad, not just on my machine, but it's also a common complaint on PC in general, where it also runs poorly between frame rate count just being blurry in strange effect. But no, most of the time it's not run well, look particularly good. 3v3, probably the most common complaint. I agree that the enormous maps being populated by 2 teams of 3 without so much of a single PvE mob to mix things up feels very strange. How is it that everybody that plays the game says 3v3 is not it, but the studio said, this is what we're going with? Make it make sense, chat. This map feels considerably reduced when they also put on horses in the mix, but it feels like the maps were made huge so they can stick to the horse concept bin, not the other way around. That said, the way the game is also designed, I'm not sure how many more players could also be jammed in here without the horse-based overload and widely overpopulated bases given the shrunken size that they feel stuck. Okay. Battle zones. For all the sprawling space, there have been a very few confrontations out of the actual map. The main one gets really getting siege weapons in the middle of the map. But if you wipe the team and the other team just sprints to the base and starts next phase, it's why 80% of the combat feels like it's inside the base. And then it shifts to being a relatively standard diffuse mode, but the breakable walls, not so innovative after all. No, it's not. It breaks it down to its simplest form. Okay. Looting. I don't understand the point of having different rarities of guns when each round of the rarities increases for both teams. So everyone will also just have the same rare stuff. The only thing that really seems to matter is how many armor sets you can have so find. You can also respawn with them on death. If everything was just the standard loadout, I don't know how this would play any differently, other than the ability to cut 90 seconds out of every round. There's also a run around upgrading gear that also just negated by the other teams, also good gear. It's an Apex system that doesn't make sense here. This is exactly why I say, if you want to put the resources in when you're farming stuff, you put the crystals in the center, you have to rush towards the center, you have to try to get as much resources as possible so then you can get the upgrades. Instead of what you're doing here. There's no point. Okay, farming. Why are we farming crystals with an axe with a little mini game? How many concepts does Highguard need to jam in here? Right? Again, the mini game system, it's like Skull and Bones trying to chop down a tree. Right? Just hit A. Why do I have to time it perfectly? Get the fuck out of here. Okay? Gunplay is fine at best. Even lacking game, it can shine. It feels amazing to play, but it also isn't something Highguard exactly excels at. But part that also may be optimization. Okay? Again, gunplay, not very good. Heavy leaning into premates. Sure, all PvP games have probably more fun to play with friends, but with more complicated objectives where Highguard feels like you need to be on the comms to have the ability to coordinate whatsoever outside of the pings with random matchmates. Some may also like it, and it feels like they have yet another significant step towards making the concept work beyond just picking up and playing. The aesthetics. I mean, what are the aesthetics? Okay, there's no visual identity here. And while it's also maybe tricky to blend fantasy and, say, assault rifles, this is not doing it so in a way that works for looks good. Okay, I would go so far as say it almost looks like a parody of a hero shooter. Okay, so there you go. So there's a couple things. The aesthetics, the heavy leaning, the gunplay, the farming, the looting, the battle zones, 3v3, and optimization. Is Paul a hater? Paul might be a hater. Or he's just a normal gamer giving his opinion about stuff. You make the call. Jack says it's Highguard's day on the daily grind. That's it. That's what it is. All these stories, Jax. All these stories are out there. Crowd says, am I confused? I swear they said they were PvE enemies to fight. I thought so too. But when I walked back to go look at the videos, there is no confirmation of them PvE. But I could have sworn they said PvE in something. But it would only be that trailer. And I guess everything else was just talked about through speculation. All right, let me see. You said that Destin. How long is Destin's video? 19 minutes? All right.
I am a changed man. Yesterday when you were watching my videos, I had not yet.
Let me put Destin's video in the description down below, because this is a brand new video. I want to make sure that His channel's down below. All right, let's watch this. We might not watch the whole thing, but we'll give it a listen to see what he has to say.
Played Highguard, but now I have, and I am here to tell you that it's okay. I mean,
Yeah. I can't make him louder. I can't make him louder. I don't have anything that makes it louder.
it's fine. It is a video game. That was basically the reaction when, we watched the big reveal trailer and saw everything. If you haven't seen the gameplay yet, it's sort of a weird mix of genres. You have a little bit of a defense system at the beginning where you fortify your base. It doesn't really seem to do much of anything when you do that, but you have base reinforcement, sort of like Siege, and if you're on the opposing team trying to break down walls, you have a little bit of that destructibility, which is kind of interesting. You have sort of like a resource gathering when you go into the open world, a little bit of Fortnite there, and there's probably some MOBA in there. But the long and the short of it is, the game isn't like, I'm not going to say it's Concord 2.0. It had a pretty...
No, again, it's not Concord.
Strong start that has very quickly tapered off. If you just have looked at the Steam DB numbers, it started at like 97,249, and it has now tapered off just a few hours later. It's only been alive since 10 o'clock this morning. I record these at night. It's already at 15,000.
He recorded this last night.
Players. We'll see how it's doing in about a week. If it falls below like 1,000, I think that would be pretty shocking. But I'm just going to throw a guess out there. I think we're going to see it stabilize around 2,000 concurrents, which is probably...
It's a good guess. It's a good guess.
Not where the developer wants it to be. But I mean, all things said, I mean, we've seen Shroud playing it.
It's so hard to aim. It's so hard to aim. I actually need to load a controller. It's insane. Okay, Shroud is shooting in Highguard. Okay. I think overall message is PR is solid, but the food needed a bit more cooking. Yeah.
All the big names are playing it, and they all just kind of think it's okay.
Are they haters? No, they're giving you their opinion based on the game, right? But people tell you that people are review bombing and stuff. But everyone's playing it. Everyone's giving you their opportunity to play it and then go, yeah, no, it's not good.
Now, the team at Highguard has this big roadmap that, they think might get people interested.
I'm glad he brought up the roadmap, right? Look at the roadmap. You got a new Warden, episode 2, which is in a couple weeks. Okay? It's like, why even put that? Just put the extra character in, put another map in, put another raid tool in, put it in, give it more. New base, no new mode. It's just ranked mode. Then you have a new Warden, new weapon, new mod, new base, new loot items. You don't get a new game mode. You get a new limited time mode. Episode 4 in June, July. Right? That's it. There's no other game mode hitting up in here. They have to, chat, put a new game mode in. They have to change up the amount of people going in the game, and they have to change the amount of the actual game mode. Not 6 months from now, like next month, 2 months, whatever they have in the pipeline. You need to take this roadmap and shove it this way into the actual game. Like take episodes 2, 3, and 4, shove it into the game right now.
Like they want to have fans, and the roadmap is basically new Wardens with every release, new maps, new weapon.
You know what's going to update every month, every episode? That's right, the microtransaction store.
And then some surprise in October and a surprise in December. Now, I don't know exactly.
The surprise in October is they're going to close. That's going to be the surprise if they don't change things.
What those surprises would particularly be, but I mean, we'll have to wait and see. Now, they have 30,000 views. It's skewing mostly negative, as you can see here right now. I'd actually Google what the tiers are for review ratings, and for the most part, we have 29.4% positive and 70% negative.
Atakuda Packer celebrates 36 months of membership. Hey, 3 years.
Thank you very much for the 3 years, Aku. Appreciate you, man. Thank you very much. October, you're giving them too much credit. I mean,
initially, and I think as more people play it and leave reviews, we'll get a better sense of how everybody is feeling about this. But that player attrition is no joke. If you just hop in and you look at some of the reviews, they're not all trolley reviews, by the way. I've seen
no, but people look at them, well, they only played for 1 hour. They can't say it. Like, it's not like it's a open world game. Like, when you play a match, you pretty much have played everything about the game. But now you got to do that 100 times.
seen a lot of people saying, oh, it's probably just all trolls and everything. I can't zoom in on this page, so you're just going to have to read the small text. Sorry. Basically, like, recommended Finally Concord 2, so that's like a joke review. League of Legends, Valorant, Paladins, 6 Siege. I mean, pretty funny. It does mishmash a whole bunch of different genres together. This person has an hour, not recommended.
Everybody is hightailing it out of Highguard because it is the worst game ever.
Yeah. Thank you very much for the $5.
For the devs, the game clearly wasn't designed to prepare for this level of scrutiny. Not recommended. After 3 matches, I'm done. The structure of the game is just weird. Like, these aren't really a ton of troll comments. If anything, a few of the positive ones are trolly. A lot of the negative ones are just like reasonable. I think I highlighted a few of them. People, like, off the bat, look, if you're going to have kernel level DRM in your game, that's going to be criticized. You automatically get a ding for that. Like, Valorant got a ding for that. So that doesn't really say anything. But when you're coming out of the gate as a Game Awards revealed game, you are going to get dinged for.
I have a question. Why are people breaking and killing the guys? Like, if they're in the balls, right, they can get revived. I understand that. But if you got 2 of them down, right? If you have 2 of them down, you leave them, because if you kill them, they go back to respawn. But if you leave them on the map, the other guy has to come and get them. So they're bait. So you leave 1 guy on the people that are down, and then you go with the other 2, right? You see what I'm saying? I didn't see anybody do that yesterday. Every time I saw someone with a red dot or whatever to go kill, they kill them. But it's not about the kills that you get.
Having something like that. And a lot of people complained about that. When you start the games, it just feels really slow and empty. A lot of people have highlighted that 3v3 is not the right format for this game. The maps in this game are way too big for 3v3 this user, right?
They restore your shields, I guess, but if you don't restore your shields, then they don't respawn. It's more powerful if you don't have your shields, because you can continue fighting and breaking into their base without them there. As soon as you break the shields, though, they get respawned anyway, so I guess.
The size would fit better for 5v5 or 6v6. I agree. We need a little bit more going on in the map. The guns feel nice to shoot, but feel uninspired. Audio is weird because people sound like they're above you when they're actually in front of you, and vice versa. Totally agree on that. You know, I've played enough matches and I've played the game enough that, you know, I'm doing okay at it now, and I still have a hard time telling where the audio is coming from. It's just hard to tell where the person is. I can sort of guess. Like, okay, they're probably not there. It's more likely they're over here, but you should be able to tell via the audio cues. So a lot of sort of weird issues. Some people had a lot of performance issues or connectivity issues at launch. Luke Stevens, he's playing on his...
Oh, is that what it is? It's the same time no matter what? It just you get revived in the time you get revived.
His whatever device that is there, and he's saying, you know, not enough players. He's having this issue there, not enough players. He's not the only one. Here's, you know, a random user. He's playing Highguard, Tears in My Eyes. It's the best game ever made, match starting. A lot of people have been talking about encountering this issue. Now, I will say from my experience, I never had an issue finding a match. Every time I get in, I am able to go in right away. I did the stream this morning. I wasn't going to play. And then, like, I just got in. I'm like, all right, well, let's do the tutorial and play a match and see what this game is all about. So that's just the fallout from everything that has been going on. If you really want to know my opinion, And real quick, like, here's another user saying they got the not enough players screen, and there's just too many issues for a launch with this much scrutiny on it. I think the initial launch
Yeah, that was great, Al Dente, where the guy's like, I'm out. It's just too boring. And they're like, oh, all right, he's leaving. All right.
trailer was great. They said that they want to do something a little bit different. They had a few interviews with Kotaku and others where they said they're not looking for a core. They're just looking for a core group of fans that love us, not the top Steam charts. We don't need player counts to be super huge. They just need.
We are going to buy Greenland, and it's going to cost less and be more successful than Highguard. It's going to be the hottest purchase.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, thanks for the $5 super chat. It's fantastic. Yeah, Highguard. It's going to be the hottest purchase.
Play the game and actually fall in love with it. The problem is, it's the same problem I ran into with Concord, honestly. The more I played Concord, the less I liked it. And the more I play Highguard, that sort of, oh, this is a new game feel.
Here's the question. If I'm enjoying a game right now, why am I going to go to this game to put time in to learn it when I'm like, I'm not really having that much fun. I'm not really enjoying myself. You wouldn't do that. You're like, I'm going to go back to my single player game, my other multiplayer game. I'd rather go sit on the toilet. Whatever you're doing, your time is valuable. You don't want to do this.
It's a new thing I get to try out. It's a new toy. As soon as that starts to wear off, I just get really fatigued by the genre really quickly now. And when I look at their roadmap, there's nothing really there that I'm seeing that has me super hyped. But I don't think the gameplay is that terrible. I saw Shroud's.
No, the gameplay is not terrible when there's gameplay. The part when you're attacking inside the base is fine. It's like every other base game, right? It's like Counter-Strike or whatever else when you're just in the small map area and you're fighting. It's the leading up to that part that's like
there's
like
just
snooze
something
fest.
a little weird about aiming. I actually kind of agree with Shroud on that one. I think, every once in a while I get a really good shot with an automatic weapon, but sometimes it feels like a sniper rifle should hit and it just doesn't for some reason. Probably because I missed, but I mean, if Shroud's complaining about it, I'll take it. I'll allow myself a little bit of leeway there. But overall, the match starts, you reinforce your base, you go out into the wild, you harvest some crystals, you buy a piece of armor at the vendor. You're supposed to like open chests and dig through it a bit to try and find more gear, but for the most part, I end up just buying it. I have about 4 hours of gameplay time, 4.1, got a few matches under my belt, and I just wonder, with so many other great games out there, why would you choose Highguard?
Thank you, Destin. Why would you choose this game? I didn't call him up and ask him. I didn't know he was going to say that. This is what we're all thinking. Why would I stop playing the game I'm playing to go play this game? You wouldn't.
Over another round of Fortnite or Might even, or any of the other games out there. I mean, heck, Destiny, Warframe. There's just so much to choose from, and it's all so good. I guess it's a nice little palette.
Here's the thing. As a gamer, I didn't decide to make the game. I decided to play your game, right? And if someone comes out and makes a fantastic game like Larian Studios or Expedition 33, or you're playing Fortnite or you're playing Battlefield 6, whatever it is, right? If you're a gamer, you're going to play the games that interest you and that keep you hooked and that what you want to do. That's your job. Find the games you like and play those games, right? If another game comes out that they decide to make and put into the industry, well, guess what? If you make a hero shooter, it's got to be better than the hero shooters that are already out there. This is why I always say, here's the bar, here's your game, right? If you just hit the same bar, why am I going to play your game? I've already played your game. It's been out for a year and a half with somebody else. Now you come out with a game, it has to be better. It has to be better in some way, shape, or form. And this, I think they have it, where the game mode and what you do in it is good, but not great. It's not at the bar. It's below the bar. It needs more time to cook, right? That's not my bad. That's their bad. It's not my responsibility to make sure their game works. It's their job to make sure their game works and compete with the other games on the market.
Cleanser, but I think once the newness wears off, I think a lot of people will be going back to their core games, and maybe that's okay for Highguard. But that roadmap through the rest of the year, I don't know. I don't see people sticking around through December.
Why is there chests? Why is there chests? Because, ooh, I opened up a chest. Why is the gear just on the ground? Right? Why is it just on the ground? Why don't you just run over it and pick it up? It's got to be in the chest because Borderlands. What about if we made Borderlands chests and we have an option of a chest in there, right?
Number for a new map and a new gun. One of the big complaints I have is even when you're looking on the screen, all the maps look the same. I know there's a lava map. I know there's an ice map. I know they do look visually different, but it's just not really telegraphed well in the menus. It just, I can't really tell what I'm looking at based off of the teasers there. There are cosmetics that you can purchase. They give you one for free, and then you earn currency in-game, and then you can unlock stuff. I think some of the skins for the characters look way better than the generic character.
If he says Concord, of course, this is not what Concord
character skins.
Well, I'll be honest, some of the characters look like Concord style
that they launch with. For the most part, the characters they're pretty boring. There's just not a lot going on design.
Well, not only is there chests, but you can also get the currency, and then you can go purchase guns from the vendor.
And then when you look at some of the skins, it's like, well, I know you have to do the generic skins, so players are incentivized to spend money. You are a free-to-play, so I get it. But it's a little hard to justify.
I am watching it at normal speed, which kills me because I usually watch them at 1.5 speed when I'm not watching it on stream.
Launching with the most bland looking armor you possibly can to do that, because I do think it hurts your marketing. On that, by the way, they just wanted to stealth drop this, which I think would have been the better play, but there's no...
Maybe what happened, Eric, is that Destin's brain is fried because he played Highguard, and now he's talking super slow. I don't know. Maybe that's what's happening to him.
No way. There's just no way this game would have hit 97,000 people at launch if they would have stealth launched it. If this would have been a game that dropped in the middle of the Game Awards as opposed to the big closer with the hype from Jeff Keighley, I think it would have just been okay. Like, we're talking like 5,000 concurrents. It's heading there now. It's at 12,000 this evening.
That's what happens. Elton says that's what happens when you play more than 2 matches in Highguard. Yeah, his brain's like, what did I just play? He's talking like a 5th grader now, like super slow
when we're looking at it.
Are you okay? Is everybody okay after playing Highguard? We're all going to play Highguard now. I hate teachers like that. God, I hated teachers like that. It's like, why are you talking to me like I'm...
And on Kentucky, they talked a little bit about that. They said, look, we always plan for a surprise release. Studio co-founder Chad Grenier told Kotaku at a preview event earlier this month. Jeff came in and wanted to do something special and put us in the TGAs. We were going to do a shadow drop, since day one, almost since forming this company. We did it with Apex, and it worked well. We've known Jeff for a long time, and he said, let me do something. We
already read that stuff.
We're gonna like with the blues and the reds and the lava map versus the ice map. So it has, I don't know. It's just so hard. It's like, I don't hate it, but I don't love it.
I love that people don't want to step on anyone's toes. They're like, I don't hate it. You hate it. You don't like it. You're not going to put any more time into it. It's okay to say that. It's okay to say this game is not good. Just say it. This game's not good. If it was good, you'd be playing it. You wouldn't be telling us why you're not playing it, or I might go play it. No, you're not going to play it because it's not a good game.
There's a lot of technical issues that they have to work out, including players not being able to find these matches.
You know what we didn't have? We didn't have videos like this for Arc Raiders. We didn't have people trying to tell you why they didn't like Arc Raiders. Arc Raiders good. People played good. They just wanted to play the game. They didn't try to, well, you know, I didn't really like. You play or you don't. It's good or you don't. You don't keep eating shit. You don't. You're like, this tastes bad. You don't keep eating it. If you like it, you like it. If you don't like it, you stop eating it.
Looting gear, you just end up buying it from the vendors for the most part. You fall in love with a few weapons here and there, and that's just what you go with. Movement's pretty good on the mount. People talk about how large the maps are and how much nothingness there is. But like once you map your mount to a quick spawn, it's not so bad. The hero abilities can be pretty fun. I like the
I think he was sick. Now that I think about it, I think he was sick a couple of weeks ago. And maybe maybe he's still getting over it.
lady, I can't even remember her name, but she can turn invisible and kind of get out of a skirmish really quick. She's my favorite so far. I tried out the the Ken knockoff really quick, and I tried out the guy who like spawns tree people, and I didn't like him very much because you have to do it for one of the tasks. Some unique abilities here. I kind of like the claw guy. I got to try him out a bit too. I think I used him in my first match, and I'm like, okay, I can just use him to knock people back. And then
what are you doing on the mount? Were they even fighting on the mount? Can you fight on the mount? I never tried.
I'm like, okay, I can just use him to knock people back, and then
what are they doing?
Try and take him out. So, you know, it's sort of like there's a thing there, but like all the mechanics just don't quite work together. And with the map structure, it would be really nice if they just had like team deathmatch or options on smaller maps, like different modes, as opposed to just this raid mode, because there's just not enough going on in the map. If you do go exploring a little bit away from your team, there's a
imagine this is like Battlefield, right? You take what's happening here, but you put 24 versus 24. Bigger maps.
Chance you could get 3v1. I mean,
you guys want to play a good game where you do raids to people's build castles and stuff? Go play Chivalry. Chivalry 1 or 2. No guns, but man, is it fun.
That happens all the time, but it's just so boring in the lead up. Like I find myself, okay, I reinforce my 5 walls. I'm just chilling here waiting to actually go and play, and then nothing really happens. And on the performance issues, Daniel Owentech pointed out that if you have to set your post-processing to high to fix the blurriness issue, one of the things I've seen a lot of people complaining about is the fact that the game looks blurry. And they're right. It looks... You'll see a lot of people in the reviews, if you go read them, they talk about it looking blurry and muddy. And they're right, it does look that way because there's some weird issue going on with
I'm not sure if it has crossplay.
Scaling.
I think it does.
It doesn't scale to your monitor if your post-processing is set weird, and that causes like a blurry, muddy look. You're forcing the deal in the moment-to-moment gameplay. And if it doesn't have that, then it just feels a little bit boring, just opening the chest and, oh, I got a blue because it's round 1, and then in round 2 the gear gets a little bit better. It's just rare.
He had to be sick. He has to be sick.
Rarely do you open a chest and find something like godlike if it's a blue chest. And I don't know, man. It's just it's really hard to put my finger on this one because I know I've said a lot of negative things and I've had a lot of critiques for it, but when I play, you know, there are some good moment-to-moment gunplay moments.
There's more feedback for this game than there was in the actual testing phase. There's more people giving feedback about this game than there was for testing phase. Like, test your shit before you release it. I don't care if it's free to play or not.
Gunplay is mostly okay. It does feel a little, there's just something, I can't put my finger on it. It just feels a little bit off with the aiming, and maybe that's just because it's a new game, but every once in a while it does feel like, okay, I feel like that should have hit. How do I know when there's drop with the sniper rifle? How do I adjust for that? And maybe that's just learning a new game. I don't think this is Concord 2.0. I do worry how this game is going to fare by December, because if this is the reception, if they have lost 1/9 of their players already.
What's happening to YouTube right now?
They peaked at 90,000 players, 97,000, and they're at 14,000, and they have dropped to 9,000. Well, from the time I started recording this video to now, they have literally dropped to sub 10,000 concurrents. I just hit refresh on this, and that's where they're at now. To be fair, it's 11:30 at night. The real question is going to be like, where do they end up by this weekend? Who knows? My hot take is the game's just fine. It's not
It's not fine. It's not fine. It's undercooked.
groundbreaking. Jeff Keighley was hyping it up to be like the next thing since sliced bread. And, you know, I play it and I'm just like, it's okay. The characters are kind of okay, I guess. Some of them, I guess, are all right. Not John Highguard, as everybody's been calling him. He is probably I think he's the
What a tragedy. Boston was infected by Sleepy Joe disease. You get it by playing 3 or more rounds of Highguard. So sad.
Stop it. Stop it. He's sick. He has to be sick. Stop it. 3 more rounds of Highguard, that's what happens. Yeah.
Character. He has armor that you can get for free. It's just like, just give him the better looking armor. Why does he look so boring? The other characters have a little bit more variety to them, but not him, man. Anyway, yeah. So, you know, the gunplay does feel good. I'll give it that. I like the mount system. Let me be
I'm sorry, I'm still laughing about it.
positive for a second. Gunplay feels pretty good. I do like the mount system. I like that you can jump on a mount and zoom around, or if you get into a battle, you can kind of jump on it and maybe get out of there or get in cover and then reevaluate your battle position. So that's good. Character designs aren't the worst. Like, it's not Concord level cringy character design, which was the big criticism there. Everything's just sort of okay. It's all just sort of okay.
Yeah. I have a question. Anybody that has a business, are you okay by just doing the bare minimum? Are you okay about just doing okay? No, you're not. You want to put the best thing out there. You want to put the best product out there. Putting yourself out there before your game is done is your own fault.
Okay or fine. It is a video game. It's not the worst video game ever made, but
they've been working on this for 4 years. They said, we need to put this out. We need to make money off of this. We need to put it out now. This is why they put it out there. They wanted to put it out there to get the masses, to get funding from us for microtransactions.
It's also not the best video game ever made. I do wonder where they're going to end up with their player base. There is no way they would have had this level of interest without the Game Awards. So I think we're going to see attrition super fast. And I just don't know how they keep this above, I don't know, like 5,000 concurrents. My guess was in a week, we're going to be around 2,000 concurrents. So I don't know where that puts them, but I imagine it's not where they want it to be. So that's my take on it. I just like, in a week, am I going to be playing this or am I going to forget about it?
I don't think you're going to be playing it within 2 days.
I mean, I follow them on X, so maybe I'll see their posts, but I just don't see it being a gangbuster hit. I don't see it being a catastrophic disaster the way Concord was, where I don't even think they broke 10,000 players ever for that game. But
they had less than 700 concurrent.
It is free to play. Well, I don't know. Take for that what you will. That is my take on Highguard. I am aggressively mid on it. It's just, I think I tweeted out, Highguard is fine, and somebody said fine doesn't cut it when there's like 40 other games that you can play.
That's right.
I'm not arguing with them at all. I think it's fine. I don't think it's aggressively bad. Maybe I'll play one more tonight and see how I'm feeling the rest of the week. But like,
imagine playing a game and you're like, the reason you're playing it is you're trying to force yourself to like something. You're trying to force yourself to like it. You're like, oh, well, there's got to be some good parts in here. Even though you've played the game, you've played the match, you know everything that's going to happen in the match. Nothing's going to change. Hour 10, hour 15, hour 20. It's not going to change. It's the exact same.
You know, Resident Evil is coming out next month, and High on Life 2 is coming out very soon. And there's all of these other games to play. And I don't know if Highguard breaks through that noise even for the shooter genre, but maybe you feel differently. Let me know in the comments below. Hey, thanks for watching, everybody. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that.
All right. So there you go. Altern says Jeff judgment of what is good game and what is a bad game is clearly inflated by how much they're willing to pay to get their trailer in his show. Well, he gave it to free. So it's not about not about the money. It's not about the money. All right, chat. That's gonna do it for us today. I'm kind of Highguard out. I put more time into Highguard in talking Highguard than we've actually played Highguard. Obviously, we're a daily news show. We go over news stories. So as stories come in, we'll talk about it. But as a full dedicated show, I don't think we're gonna do that again. I think we're good. But before we leave, let's check out where Highguard ends up before we leave. Is it going to be higher or lower, chat? Higher or lower, okay, than 15,639. I'm going to hit refresh. If it's higher or lower, here we go. 16,819. It's on its way back up. People are like, well, you know what? I'm going to give it another shot. Nope. Still tastes like shit. Still tastes like shit. All right, we'll be back tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, for some more gaming over on 30 and Still Gaming. There's going to be a video upload later today or this evening on this channel. And then we'll be back tomorrow morning for the daily grind. I appreciate it very much. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. You guys have a great rest of your day, evening, or night. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.
Well, I booted up south of midnight, feeling fine. Got my spells, my sass, I'm ready to shine. Then boom, big beast, 20 arms, breathing fire. I died so much, my controller retired. I tried to roll parry and dash on cue. Game said, get good. I said, nah, I'm through. And right when I almost snapped and quit, I heard a whisper, a gospel hit. Skip the boss, John Walker said. Just walk on past, don't be misled. Games ain't chores, they're meant for fun. So let that angry dragon stay undone. You ain't gotta fight no squid with knives, or study boss moves like it's changing lives. Hit skip, sip tea, and read instead. Just skip the boss, like John Walker said. Now soul slikes, they worship pain and strife, where every boss wants to end your life. You farm some moss, find a stick, pray a bit, then die, cause the lich had a one-shot crit. But John Walker, nah, he ain't about that grind. He writes long blogs where he speaks his mind. Says bosses suck and should all be skipped, except the ones that let you cheese and dip. Skip the boss, John Walker wrote. They're gatekeeping trash, that ain't no joke. A game's no good if I'm stuck in place. Let me click through with some style and grace. Don't wanna learn his six-phase plan. I've got books to read and shows to stand. Let him roar and foam and drop undead. I'm skipping him, like John Walker said. Boss music swells, flames ignite. Hood says you died, but you all tabbed mid-fight. You went on Steam, left a review, unplayable. There's a boss 0 out of 10. Respect. Skip the boss, we chanted song with John Walker. We all belong. To heck with trials and death-filled zones. Let's play games from comfy thrones. No to walls, no to stress. Yes to stories and cozy quests. Why fight God when you could bake instead? Just skip the boss, like John